Okay, let's just get right into it. Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're tearing apart a massive financial impossibility. I mean, it literally defies all logic. It breaks every single rule of economics you thought you knew. And honestly, it's a ticking time bomb just waiting to blow up the global market. Let's dive in. 219.1%. Seriously, let that number sink in for a second. That was Japan's national debt compared to the size of its entire economy back in 2012. It's an absolutely suffocating weight. Any normal country, they would have folded instantly. The math just doesn't support survival at this level. It's completely unprecedented. Common sense screams that Japan should be a financial wasteland right now. Think about Greece. Remember that? Greece completely collapsed. Total devastating bankruptcy. And their debt was only at 165.6%. But Japan? Japan actually thrives at a monstrosity 219.1%. It's a massive slap in the face to everything the experts thought they knew about sovereign debt. Looking at this, you see how it completely breaks the global curve. Japan's debt dwarfs every other developed nation on Earth. They sit totally isolated at the absolute top of the global debt list. Their leverage is extreme. To be blunt, their survival makes absolutely no sense on paper. Section 1. The giant reversal of bankruptcy common sense. Section 2. Who fills the debt black hole? So how on earth do they survive? Well, the answer is an incredibly well-crafted illusion of safety. For decades, Japan followed one strict unspoken rule: keep the wealth strictly in the family. Locals buy local, it's a phenomenon called home bias. Citizens save every single penny. Domestic institutions take those savings and they buy government debt. The money literally never leaves the island. Before the global financial crisis, this system was absolutely bulletproof. Robust domestic savings absorbed a staggering 95% of the government's debt. Think about that for a second. 95% held right at home. There was zero room for foreign panic. It was a perfectly closed, perfectly stable loop. The system was totally rigged for survival. The trust here was absolute. Private banks and insurance companies eagerly locked massive amounts of capital into long-term Japanese debt. They didn't want quick cash. No, they believed entirely in the government's stability. That domestic market was the ultimate shield against global volatility. Section 3. The unexpected winner of the financial tsunami. Now, common sense tells you a global financial tsunami destroys everything in its path, right? Well, here is the ultimate anti-common sense reality. The 2008 crash actually saved Japan temporarily. Lehman collapsed, global interest rates plummeted, the Eurozone fractured, the whole world was burning, and terrified global money, it desperately fled directly into Japan. Absolute calamity became their lifeline. Foreign investors were terrified. They treated Japan as the ultimate safe haven to park their cash. But there was a massive catch. They didn't actually trust Japan long-term. No way. They demanded short-term, highly liquid, easy-to-dump debt. They completely avoided the long-term commitments the locals held. It was just a temporary marriage of convenience. The data here is explosive. Look at this. Foreign holdings of short-term debt shot up violently. It peaked at over 17% as the world panicked. It wasn't a strategic investment. It was a hiding spot. They just parked their cash in Japan to survive the massive storm raging outside. But this massive influx completely flipped the script. The safety net changed hands. The fluctuations across sectors became wild and totally unpredictable. Japan was no longer relying on its own loyal citizens. Suddenly, it was relying on nervous, flighty foreign money to keep its short-term debt afloat. The foundation was quietly, but surely, cracking. Section 4. Research logic and fatal limitations. So how do we actually know all this? Academics tracked every single dollar moving through the financial system step by step. They brilliantly proved that foreign money was aggressively chasing safe returns in Japan. But the methodology hits a massive fatal wall. They cannot isolate the specific central bank data. They can see the money moving, sure, but they cannot clearly identify the faces of the actual buyers, which sparks a huge data mystery. The central bank hypothesis. Did China's central bank secretly buy up all this short-term debt to diversify their foreign reserves? Maybe, but the data is a total blur. It lumps private foreign investors and powerful state actors together into one giant bucket. The research simply cannot definitively prove who is driving the bus, and that is a critical flaw. You can't predict the future if you don't know who holds the trigger. Section 5. the ticking debt time bomb. Which brings us right to the terrifying reality of today. The grand illusion is fading fast. The safety net is ripping apart right in front of us. Make absolutely no mistake. This crisis was never avoided. It was only delayed. The actual mechanics of the collapse are already in motion. Check this out. Step 1. Japan's population ages rapidly. Step 2. Because people retire and stop working, those legendary domestic savings completely vanish. Step 3. Global markets recover, and that nervous foreign safe haven money leaves Japan to find better yields. Step 4. The inevitable, devastating crisis hits. This isn't just a theory. This is a mathematical certainty playing out in real time. The internal loop is dead. The external money is fleeing. The researchers themselves summarize this perfectly. They say Japan's massive government debt has not resulted in high economic costs in the past, but it may have substantial costs in the future. That historical safety was a complete fluke, a perfect storm of domestic loyalty and foreign panic. And now, the clock is steadily ticking down to absolute zero. Japan bought time. They survived the absolute impossible. But can aggressive economic policies actually defuse this ticking bomb before the money completely disappears? That, my friends, is the multi-trillion-dollar question. Thanks for joining this explainer. Keep diving into the data, keep questioning the common sense, and I'll catch you in the next one.